I think it is done.
The Supreme Court has affirmed the elections of Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto, Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano, Simon Lalong of Plateau, and Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. At a separate rulings on Monday, the Apex Court, in its unanimous decision over the Kano gubernatorial election, held that the PDP's candidate Abba Yusuf failed to prove that the lower courts were wrong in the earlier judgment dismissing his appeal.
Abba Yusuf and his team brought a petition alleging that the election, that they won the election. They scored a majority of lawful votes in the election, and that Ganduje did not score a majority of lawful votes. But the facts which they allege in the petition tended to show or pretend to the allegation of non-compliance and corrupt practice. So the Supreme Court held that when a person makes allegation that he won the election, it is not an umbrella which covers every infraction of the Electoral Act. And therefore, since the allegations which they made was not consistent with the sole ground which they based the petition on, if there was no basis upon which the court or the tribunal would have considered the allegation which they made, and therefore affirmed the decision of the tribunal and the Court of Appeal and dismissed the petition and affirmed Governor Ganduje as the duly elected governor of Kano State.
In the Sokoto gubernatorial appeal, the Supreme Court upheld the victory of Governor Aminu Tambuwal of the PDP, saying the APC's candidate Ahmad Aliyu's petition was riddled with inconsistencies.
But we lost in Sokoto on the ground that the document tender, the date that is borne on the receipt, does not tally on the date the copies were given to the applicant. And that since the witnesses said there were Hausa versions without corresponding English version, there was a problem. So that's the Supreme Court, and we are bound by the judgment.
It was that the appellants brought witnesses who spoke Hausa. So by the law, if your evidence is translated into English from Hausa, you have to provide the two versions of the translated English and that of Hausa, so that the witness will adopt it. Now the court will now have the opportunity to look at the Hausa translation as well as English translation to confirm that they rhyme. In this case, they only brought the translated version of the witnesses. So the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. You have to bring the two. If you brought only one, that's the end of it. You failed to establish your case.
In the case of Plateau, the Apex Court agreed with the judgments of the lower court, saying Governor Lalong fulfilled the electoral requirements to vie for office of the governor.
First of all, let me say that with this judgment, it has rekindled my confidence in the judiciary. I've always said the judiciary is the last hope of the common man, and the judiciary has exhibited that today. And I also want to say that I thank God, especially for the journey so far. We started from the appeal, from the trial court. We have reached the Apex Court, and that is God's work. This one is final, and the next thing is the focus for the people of Plateau State.
Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State also had his election upheld by the Supreme Court. The court held that the APC's candidate and former governor of the state, Mohammed Abubakar, presented inadmissible pieces of evidence.
The verdict today has really reaffirmed my faith in the judiciary of this country, and I want to affirm and restate that the people of Bauchi who have voted for me unanimously across party lines, I will make sure I will take them on that basis to consider them without any differences, to make sure that I give them good governance.
With controversies trailing the Supreme Court judgments, the debate over legal technicalities and judicial precedent have been rekindled, most especially on Nigeria's electoral reform drive.
As it is today, the provisions of the Electoral Act are heavily weighed and loaded against a petitioner. And that is why you see politicians, whenever elections are going on, they just tell their followers, just do anything you do. The important thing is that we must first win. When we win, let us meet at the court. Because they know that the obstacles that are legally and constitutionally mounted against a petitioner are overwhelming and gargantuan. So I think beyond these election petitions, the National Assembly needs to take a critical, hard look at our electoral laws with a view to reforming them. Because we can't go on like this. We are having a situation where governors, where senators, where House of Representatives members, where councillors, where chairmen of local governments, and even where presidents are being incubated and delivered by the courts to the electorates, contrary to the wishes of the Nigerian people.